Hi everyone, this is Tiffany with Raising House and Home, and I'm excited to share with you my sugar cookie bar recipe. We're going to start with the ingredients for the Christmas sugar cookie bars, and I do have more ingredients for the frosting, but I'm going to wait and we're going to introduce those when it's closer to the time that we have to frost. But for now, we have just the ingredients for the sugar cookie bars, and they're super simple, and it's one of the things I love about Christmas is they're just simple ingredients. So let's get started. In our measuring cup, we have 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and then over here we have 1 cup of granulated sugar, and then over here we have 1 stick of the salted butter, which is 1/2 cup, and it is soft. We let it sit out for a little while to get room temperature. And then we have a teaspoon of baking powder. And over here, we have 1 large egg, 1/4 cup of sprinkles, and we call these jimmies here. And I chose these ones because they are softer than like the harder little ball sprinkles. And these tend to melt more into baked goods, so they're not crunchy pieces in your cake or in your bars. So I really like these, and the color spreads a little bit around them and makes them really pretty. And over here we have a tablespoon of milk and a teaspoon of vanilla. And you could also use a tablespoon of eggnog if you wanted to, and that has vanilla in it. So you wouldn't even need vanilla, and it would give it more of like an eggnog flavor. And that is it. I mean, super simple. 1 egg, 1 stick of butter. You cannot beat that. So I'm going to get started creaming the sugar and the butter together. So I'm going to start with the sugar. And we're going to put the warm butter in. And you're going to cream this together. I'd like a slotted spoon, and you could use your mixer if you'd like, but I prefer to do this by hand so I can really make sure that all the sugar is incorporated into the butter. So I'm gonna use the slotted spoon to help move air around and get that creamed up. You want to kind of break it all down and smush it up. And here's my progress. I'm just kind of pushing it and mushing it down. And once it gets incorporated, we can whip it around and it will be nice and fluffy. So all of our butter and sugar is creamed together. It's nice and fluffy. And now we're gonna add an egg. And we're gonna add our vanilla and milk. We're gonna mix this all together. That is all mixed together, and now we are going to put our baking powder into our flour, and we're just going to kind of fluff it together so that it's all mixed and the baking powder is incorporated in there. So you don't want to get like one little clump of baking powder in your dough. Now we're going to mix this in slowly. We'll do about 1/3 of it. And once this is incorporated, then you will add another 1/3. So now we're going to add the other 1/3 of this about. Of course, we're just eyeballing. And we're going to mix more. And as you can tell, it's starting to get thicker and more of that cookie dough consistency. And it's time for the last 1/3 of cup of our flour and baking powder mixture. And we're going to mix this all in until all the flour is melted into the butter. And the last ingredient that we have is our sprinkles. So we're just going to kind of try to get them all over because this is very thick. We're going to have to like fold them in. And there is no exact science for this. You will just have to try to put them all in there, and I promise that all the colors will get to every bar. And you can see it's very thick. You could use this recipe for actual sugar cookies, I would just omit the milk. I added the milk because it is a bar and you need a little bit of help spreading it into the pan. All the sprinkles are mixed in and they're beautiful. And now we have to get our 9x9 pan. My pan is a little bit bigger than that. I don't have a 9x9 pan. I'm going to smooth it in. And you can even use a spatula. It just makes it nice and smooth. And I just want to make sure the edges are somewhat even. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't want them to cook in a different way where one is thinner and cooks quicker and might burn, whereas another side might be too thick. My oven is preheated at 350. So I'm going to throw these in and cook them for about 20 minutes. And then I'll show you what they look like when I take them out to cool. I just took them out of the oven and I'm gonna let them cool for a little while. Now we are at the frosting stage and we are going to use 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1 stick of butter, 3 tablespoons of cream cheese, and we're gonna let it be room temperature so it's nice and soft. And then we also have a teaspoon of vanilla and 2 tablespoons of milk. And you want this to be a little thick, so we're going to cream together the sugar and the butter and cream cheese, and then slowly we're going to add the vanilla and milk, and we're just going to kind of test out the consistency. You don't want it to get too watery because then it won't set well on the cookie. Most of the sugar is all mixed in. We're gonna put in the milk. I'm only gonna do about half of it for right now. So you just kind of wanna put in half. And again, you can use eggnog. So if you want to use eggnog in the Christmas sugar cookie bar recipe instead of milk, and then also use eggnog for the frosting, that would really add some new flavors. And see, now it's starting to look like frosting. And I really want it to be thick and not clumpy, so I may not put any more of this in. So there, as you can see, we've gotten all the clumps out and it's a nice consistency. See how it's kind of forming peaks and it's not just running off? That's exactly what I wanted for these bars. So I did not use the other tablespoon of milk. So for this recipe, I would recommend 1 tablespoon of milk instead of 2, unless you want to be a light, fluffy frosting. I'm missing 2 little squares. My husband didn't want to wait until it was frosted and he wanted to take some to work with him. So I gave him the ends. And see how beautiful that is on the bottom? We're going to try to get equal portions, which is hard to do sometimes when you are just eyeballing it, especially when I have the camera right here. It's hard for me to lean over and do that. I think I'd like to get 3 out of each section, and I'm going to cut these ends off. So I like them a little swirly, like a cupcake almost, but you can, I just want to show you that you can make them more straight and just flat. As this sets and gets a little bit harder, those lines will go away. See, if I take along the edge, isn't that pretty? Keep it look a little like a rectangle. All right, I think I'm gonna do a little fancy one. Very pretty colors. Oh, that's my favorite. Here's the final result of our cookie bars. These were so easy and fun, and it reminded me so much of when I was growing up and making sugar cookies, especially like in school and with our friends and with our family. So I hope that you enjoyed this video and something a little different besides cookies. I like to have a variety on my holiday plates with squares and like little truffles and cookies. I like all the different variation of shapes, and I think it just looks so beautiful like this. And the frosting is definitely got like a harder top to it now. And we are gonna go enjoy these and watch a Christmas movie. So thank you for watching. Please click subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the bell so you can be notified when I put up new videos. I will be putting up new videos every day until Christmas, and every Sunday and Wednesday otherwise. So again, thank you for watching. Have a happy, Merry Christmas season. Be happy, safe, and healthy. And until next time, bye.